Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. On today's episode, we're gonna finish day 5. It's gonna be the last video of the day. Tomorrow we're gonna start with a brand new day, which is always fun. Before we start the video, just wanna say thank you. We are in the final stretch to get to the 500 subscribers. So if you wanna be the one of the few ones that's gonna say I was there before 500, now is your chance to do it. With that, I'll say I appreciate it, and let's get right into the video.
Who were you with?
I was with my family, my wife, and 3 children, as well as 3 other families. There's a group of 19 of us.
19?
And by chance, were you with Ed Harris?
Yes.
And did Matt have his...
Hold on, overruled.
Sorry.
The question and answer will stand.
Sir, how old are your kids?
My kids at the time of the parade were 11, 7, and 3.
How old is Kelsey?
Really young.
Kelsey at the time of the incident was 3. Today she's 4.
Okay.
All of a sudden, a car, red SUV, pulled around that float and headed directly in our direction.
When you state that this red SUV was coming at your group, can you, and I don't know if you can you show the direction of travel using this exhibit?
Overruled.
Based on my recollection, was coming here and again right at our location.
It is captured. We'll save it as 51B.
I'd also ask...
I think the only reason why he didn't went through them is because they're like, I'm gonna go back just a little bit.
Can you show the direction of travel using this exhibit?
Yes, this. The only reason why he didn't keep going was because there was a post here. If this were not here, he would have just dropped straight through them. That's my best guess. He just didn't want to get
Based
stuck
on my
in
recollection, was coming here and again
stoplight.
right at our location.
It is captured. We'll save it as 51B.
I'd also ask...
I'm sorry, was there an objection
Yes,
on the basis for the objection?
relevancy.
It is relevant. 51B
It is relevant to what he
has been
just
captured,
said.
and I believe you had a
What
statement.
do you mean
I'd ask
relevancy?
that be moved into evidence.
It is received. 51B.
The objection be noted for the record, Your Honor.
It is.
It already has been.
At the time of when that vehicle was coming towards our group, myself in particular, my concern after looking at this vehicle was realizing that he was heading directly for our children, getting to the end of our group, which again, Kelsey was furthest on the west. And right next to Kelsey would have been a family friend, Brinley Harris. And I saw the vehicle strike my daughter. My daughter flew approximately 15 feet
What?
Towards the middle of the intersection of Clinton and Main.
You said Kelsey flew approximately 15 feet into Clinton Street?
In estimation,
Your objection is noted.
Already answered.
Yeah.
What was the objection?
That was already answered.
That's not my recollection, so it's overruled. I believe she was seeking clarification or additional details.
Can that be clarified? I mean, in the question?
There
No,
questions
go ahead
already
and
been
ask
asked.
your question, Attorney Basie. Your objection's noted, it's overruled.
Is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
Yes.
Go ahead, Attorney Basie.
Were you able to see inside the vehicle?
I was.
How many people were inside that vehicle?
I could only see one person in the vehicle.
Could you tell male or female?
Yes, it was a black male, and at the time, the eyes is what drew me in. Were completely wide open, and made eye contact with the individual driving the vehicle.
So you looked eye to eye with the person who hit your daughter.
I did.
Did you see him in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point him out by where he's seated and what he's wearing?
He's
And
seated
I ask
in.
that Mr. Brooks take off his face mask.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
He is seated at the table, located over here. He's got a gray suit on, a blue shirt, and a tie.
Let the record reflect that witness has identified the defendant, Darrell Brooks.
Objection, I do not consent to being called that name, nor do I know any individual by that name, Your Honor.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant as the driver of the SUV that struck his daughter.
May my objection be noted for the record as well, Your Honor.
It's noted.
It's
Everything, every single thing that you say, it's on the record. There's a stenographer in there that I feel really sorry about her, by the way. Having to write all this nonsense that he keeps going. I think she has like a copy paste notepad on her desk, and when he starts going into the plaintiff and all that stuff, she just copies that, pastes it on the record, and there you go. She doesn't have to move her hands there.
Do you appear to be in control of the car?
Yes.
Did the vehicle stop after hitting your daughter?
The vehicle did not stop after hitting my daughter.
So you indicate that you were friends with
Shows of remorse.
Matt Harris and his family?
Objection, relevancy
Overruled.
to this particular witness.
Overruled. It goes to context and
Grounds.
background.
Grounds for that.
She just told you.
Context and background. It's also relevant. Go ahead, you may answer.
That's correct. We are.
And you say that Brindley was standing near Kelsey when Kelsey got hit?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Brindley was standing directly to Kelsey's left, to her east.
And did you see Brindley after November 21st?
Yes, I've seen Brindley after November 21st.
Shortly after November 21st of last year?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Yes.
Did she have any type of medical dressing on her at that time?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Grounds for that.
It's
Overruled.
relevant.
It's relevant.
Yes, she had a full cast on.
It's what happened.
You
Okay. Here we
may claim that you locked eyes with the driver of the
Yes.
vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
That is correct.
And approximately how far was the vehicle from you when you supposedly locked eyes?
Supposedly.
I would estimate it 20 feet.
Would it be fair to say that that's about as far as I am from you now? Or was the vehicle further than where I am now from you?
I would state that it was probably a little bit closer.
There you
And
go.
what do you mean by a little bit closer?
Do you English, my guy? Do you speak it? It's like I'm just saying you were closer than you are right now. I don't see how that is confusing. Oh, why would you need
I would
clarification?
say perhaps halfway, maybe three-quarters of the way between where you're seated right now and where I'm seated right now.
What would be 3/4 of the way?
Can you explain to me what 3/4 mean? I don't know how fractions work.
Can you point about where?
Again, I estimated it about 20 feet.
Would it be fair to say that halfway between you and I would not be an accurate statement of 20 feet?
It's a guess.
Grounds.
It was a guess, an
Overruled.
estimation.
He may answer the question.
That's why I stated it was about three-quarters of the way.
So about what spot would it be? By this black I guess I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a door.
Electrical box.
Excuse me, what is that?
It's an electrical box.
Would it be by this electrical box? Would it be this square directly next to the electrical box? I mean, what would you say would be 3/4 of the way?
Darrell I was told there will be no math.
So the electrical box would be a good estimation of the distance. However, it was a little further to my left than where the electrical box was because it was coming at us at more of
So
a...
it would be a little further this way, coming back towards the table here.
Your Honor, I just ask that the defendant allow the witness to answer the question before he asks the next question.
I agree.
So you would estimate that it was in relation to where the electrical box is, probably approximately around like this general area right here?
What is the relevance of this?
To my direction, probably a little bit to the left of there.
Just so the record is clear, Mr. Brooks is standing up at his table. He's pointing what would be pretty much directly in front of him, but to my left of the electrical box.
For the record, I'm a third party, Your Honor. Like that stated for the record, I don't identify by that name or consent to being called that name, Your Honor.
Your lack of consent is noted. Next question, please.
Your Honor, just for the record, I don't think some of the jurors in the back can see the black electrical box.
Sure, why don't we have our
Just
jurors stand for a moment? So that we can be clear that they're seeing that. Thank you.
She moved the podium so they could see.
So the record should reflect that the jurors are all standing to take a look at where the electrical box is, and of course.
And I'm really surprised that he's not objecting to her moving from the table, because this whole thing, he's chained to the table, so he cannot move. So why would she could move?
The squares of carpet next
Not
to
him.
that.
Not fair.
You would say from that general distance, you were able to clearly lock eyes with a vehicle that was passing you at a speed that you say was too fast?
Yes.
As I stated before, the vehicle was not necessarily passing me, it was coming straight at me. And yes, I was able to lock eyes.
And do you recall if the vehicle had any tint?
So all of that, every single question about the distance, about where is it, the electrical box, what was that for? It didn't amount to anything.
I do not recall if the vehicle had any tinted windows. I assume, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, tint, yes.
I do not recall if the vehicle had any tinted windows.
And were you able to see if there were any occupants in the vehicle other than the driver?
He said only one.
I only saw one occupant in the vehicle.
Did you get a license plates of the vehicle?
I did not get a license plate for the vehicle.
Do you recall what the driver was wearing?
I do not recall what the driver was wearing.
So it would be fair to say that all you looked at was the eyes then, and not the entire face.
I saw the face of the occupant, the driver of the vehicle. I did not see pants or make out any shirt or jacket or any other markings.
I didn't ask about pants, but
You asked about what was he wearing. What? He was like, oh, did you see any clothes? He was like, no. Oh, so you didn't see the face? Like, that's not what he said.
Here's your question. Next question, sir.
I would like to get to it, Your Honor.
Well, do it.
Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone while it was coming towards you?
I did not.
After it had passed you?
Yes, I observed the vehicle striking my 3-year-old daughter, Kelsey.
After that point?
I did not.
No, you're
You
just worried about
stated
your
that
daughter.
When the vehicle was coming towards you, it turned away? It was turning away?
Yes, as the vehicle was coming directly towards our group, it did make a turn.
From your observation, why do you think the vehicle would have been turning away from you?
Objection.
Grounds.
Calls for speculation.
Grounds.
Yeah,
Sustained.
he cannot know.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Calls for speculation.
Were you injured in any way?
I was not physically injured.
Good answer.
And you...
Mr. Brooks, sorry to interrupt. How much longer do you have? The
I've-
only reason I ask is there's some weather coming in, and I've had some alerts, and I want to make sure everyone gets to a safe location. There is a tornado warning, not for us just yet, but so I'm I'll let you finish, but I may be interrupting if another alert comes in. Are they going on? All right, we're gonna take our lunch early then, and all rise for the jury. Sorry for the interruption, Mr. Brooks.
What? Finish my
You will. My thoughts are as follows: is to have Mr. Knapp come back in. I presume he's available, and finish his cross-examination. And then, frankly, given the severity of the weather that went through, including near my house, and I need to check on my house, is to break for the day and resume tomorrow morning. So that's my plan, as is my practice, though I will give the parties an opportunity to indicate whether they think differently, but that's what I'd like to do. From the state?
You know, we obviously have a full slate of witnesses here to go this afternoon. Some have traveled from like the Cudahy area or, you know, some distance, not unavoidable, but my only other suggestion would be to maybe, you know, take an extended break and let people make calls or even go home and check and come back at 3 o'clock or something. If that's a possibility, we could still work for a couple hours yet this afternoon, but whatever the court thinks is best, we certainly will be prepared either way.
I certainly would be open to maybe an extended break so that I and others could do exactly what you just say. But I'll hear from you, sir, if you have any position on that.
Yeah, I do have a position on that.
Of course, it's going to be the contrary to what they
agree
say.
with your first assessment, Your Honor. Severity and weather that can sometimes mess with equipment being the trial being televised, that can possibly interrupt.
He's so concerned for everyone. He just wants to be able to go in the stall more and delay.
That.
I don't
And
buy
you
it.
never know. Some people that may be key to this matter may not be able to come back after an extended break. There's no way to tell at this point. I do believe it would, on the air, just for cautionary reasons, would be wise to kind of break for the day and then reset tomorrow morning or whenever the court feels it's best.
Keep delaying, my guy.
State really quick for the record, Your Honor. I'm still, I guess I would say, waiting to obtain a filing that I addressed before we went on record.
I don't know what that means, sir, but I need to bring the jurors out. I need to finish with the cross-examination portion of Mr. Knapp's testimony.
Still no address of the subject matter jurisdiction, Your Honor.
He will not. He already has. Move on.
Mr. Brooks, my previous record on that issue stands. I will not further be addressing it without a proper motion for reconsideration that complies with the statutes.
I just wanted to state that for the record.
So noted.
I'd like to apologize to the court. I'm not sure where I left off at.
Don't laugh.
Did you recall any law enforcement being
Just
present
remember that you were asking nonsense, and then you start right back in there.
at the Clinton Street side crossing, I guess?
Yes, there was a law enforcement officer on the south side of the street, and as I mentioned before, he helped save a lot of lives by pushing our children back.
Appreciate the extra commentary.
Wow, my guy, what? He just answered your question. What?
Do you recall describing
This
the
guy.
driver as an African American male with long hair and facial hair?
I remember describing the driver of the vehicle that I made eye contact with as a black male with facial hair. I don't necessarily recall stating long hair.
There you go.
I have the summary right here of the interview that you gave with law enforcement.
Yeah. So it's the summary. It's not what he said. It's what the officer thought he said.
And reading from that summary,
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Again, for the same reason I
Grounds.
objected before. This is in a statement or a supplement by Detective Jeff Adent, A-D-E-N-T, from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, in which he met up with this witness. This witness provided information to the detective.
I understand. I don't need the full
Okay.
explanation. I'll just sustain the objection as to the form of the question.
would the reference to the statement that I referred to about the long hair, if I was able to show you, would it bring any recollection of what you may have said during that interview?
No, if I stated it at that time, then that was my recollection at that time. 11 months later, my recollection of the statement is that I made eye contact.
I'm not referring to that.
What were you
To that
referring to?
statement. I'm referring to the statement that reads David, or yes, or wait, let me back up.
He doesn't even know what it is.
Were there some confusion with your name in this report?
How would he know?
Not that I'm aware of.
It looks like the officer that was taking the report got a little confused.
How is
on
this
the
relevant?
name.
Mr. Brooks, you're providing a narrative, so that's not a question. He doesn't have the report in front of him, so please make sure you ask the question.
Do you recall reading from the summary, describing the driver as an African American male with long hair?
If I stated that at the time, that was my recollection at the time. As I sit here today, I cannot state that I recall having seen long hair.
Would it be fair to say that what I'm reading from is accurate statements made by you to the law enforcement officer?
Objection. For the
Grounds.
same reason I mentioned.
Hold on. There's a lack of foundation as to the question, so I'll sustain it, and if you are able to rephrase, please.
It's a report.
Can I show
No.
the witness his statements?
What? It's not a statement. It's not.
Maybe that may
It's a summary.
bring some recollection back of what was said in the interview.
You're reading that already.
I'll allow it, if you would give the statement to the bailiff, who can then give it to the state.
Again, I'm going to object. If he's using it to refresh recollection, that's fine, but this witness says it does not refresh his recollection. I'm objecting to any questions after.
Don't allow him
Okay.
that.
I object to that because
Hold on, you've asked that it be shown to the witness, it will be shown to the witness. Is there a particular paragraph you want to direct his?
Things are going your way, dude. Stop objecting. You're winning that for some reason.
Attention to, Mr. Brooks?
the paragraph that I referred to when he stated that the driver was an African American male with long hair.
All right, so, sir, just take a moment to review that. When you're done reviewing it, turn it over, and then Mr. Brooks will ask you some follow-up questions.
For the record, I don't consent to being called that name, Your Honor. For the record, I'm third party to the matter, Your Honor.
You're not.
From reading that summary of the
Do you
interview
see that? He didn't bring that back. He didn't brought that back. He knows. I think he knows that's the only copy that he has. So it's like, I'm gonna keep this.
you gave with law enforcement, do you recall stating that the driver was an African American male with long hair?
I don't recall stating long hair, but
Would it be fair to say that the summary that is in front of you states that that's what you said?
It would be hearsay.
Grounds.
It's hearsay.
I'm stating directly what it says on the paperwork.
It's still
That's
hearsay,
hearsay.
Mr. Brooks. So the objection is sustained. Next question.
Is it fair to say that that's what
That's hearsay.
It's the same question.
is hearsay when it's right there for him?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks, I direct your attention to the
Read.
hearsay statute, all right, for a definition in 908.01 and the rule in 908.02.
So it's not a fair.
Sustained. Next question.
He's so frustrated because
Do
he's
you
wrong.
recall if the driver had hair? Any hair whatsoever?
I recall seeing facial hair.
There you go.
Any hair on their head?
I don't recall at the moment as we sit today picturing exactly that if I saw hair or if I didn't.
Any reason why you wouldn't be able to see the driver's head?
Huh?
My eyes were locked on a vehicle that was driving at a high rate of speed with the person driving the vehicle's eyes extremely wide. And then at that moment, my full attention went to my children where that vehicle was driving at a very high rate of speed.
So it would be fair to say that because you keep making reference to the eyes.
Yes.
So would it be fair to say then that because you were so fixated on the eyes that it would
Fixated?
be hard to tell any other features of the driver?
I'm stating what I saw: wide eyes, black male, facial hair.
Would it being so fixated on the eyes,
Fixated.
would that in any way make it hard for you to see any other facial description?
I'm not sure your definition of hard. I'm stating what I saw.
Yeah.
Do you recall if there was anything on the driver's head, a hat, or
He already said
anything
no.
of that nature?
I don't recall.
You stated that it was a African American male. Do you recall a skin complexion?
I do.
Was it a dark skin complexion?
It was.
Would it
Yeah.
be fair to say that who you identified today does not have a dark complexion?
You do.
I guess it depends upon the definition of dark.
What is your definition of dark?
Darker
Because
than him.
In all fairness, you said dark skin.
Yeah.
So what would be your
He's
definition of
not dark.
skin?
I kind of dark. Hey, dark.
Dark skin as present on my interaction with black males in the past.
So every black male that you've had an interaction with was dark skinned?
Yeah.
Again, it depends. There's different complexions of dark, and it depends upon what complexion or what your definition of dark is.
Yeah. Depends on you.
I'm asking your definition because you said dark skin.
Yeah, he already told you.
Yeah, I'm going to object to this line of questioning.
On
The
what
point
grounds?
has been made. This witness identified the defendant, Darrell Brooks, as a person driving the car. I think he's asked the question about dark skin. I think that this has been asked and answered.
Objection.
I'm going to sustain the objection as to the form of the question. I believe the way it's asked is argumentative. You may rephrase if you so choose.
May my objection be noted that I do not identify by that name, nor do I know anybody by that name. I don't consent to being called that name.
That's not an objection.
Noted. Next question, please.
Have you ever had any other interactions with any black males that were not considered dark-skinned by your definition?
No.
I don't understand your question.
Have you had any previous interaction?
So what he's trying to do here is say that since he said dark, he wants a deep dark skin tone, not what he has, which is a light dark skin. So I think this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to say that since he's not really dark skinned, that it was not him.
Interactions with African Americans that were not dark-skinned?
Objection to relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled. It relates to his identification. He may answer.
As stated before, my interactions with black males before, there are different levels of complexion and color tones, darker versus lighter. And I have interacted with black males before that have been both lighter and darker skin tones, yes.
Would it be fair to say that you didn't give that clarification when asked before?
Because he wasn't needed.
I don't understand your question.
Would it be fair to say that you did not give that clarification when asked the same question before?
What clarification are you referring to?
You strictly said the skin tone. You came to the conclusion that it was dark skin based on your interactions with African American males before. Would it be fair to say that that's what you testified to?
That I can identify the skin tone color is what I stated, and the person that was driving the vehicle had a darker skin tone.
May I have that paper back that he has?
Margaret to reflect the one page of the police report has been handed back to the defendant.
And just for clarification for the record, you did not see the vehicle strike anyone once it was past your location.
When it passed me, I saw the vehicle strike my daughter.
The location where you
Again, another
were
question
at.
that
You
Curtis
made
made.
reference to being near that intersection corner, I think it was.
So
Once it was past that location is what I'm referring to.
right. So after the vehicle struck my daughter and then past that location, I ran to my daughter as stated, and I did not see, other than the vehicle swerve back towards Main Street, the vehicle strike another human being.
So you did not see it, just for clarification, because that was a lot of commentary. For
That is
clarification for the record, you did not see it strike anyone else once it was past that location where you and your family were.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have made a determination that today we are going to break early, just given all of the weather issues that happened earlier today.
Right, we finished day 4. We're gonna come back tomorrow with, I'm sorry, day 5. We're gonna come back tomorrow to day 6. So thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you made it this far, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.